What if one of the greatest philosophers of all time never wrote a single word? This is the mystery of Socrates, a man whose wisdom shaped the foundations of Western philosophy, yet who left us no writings of his own. Today, we will explore why Socrates never wrote a book, what this choice reveals about his unique vision of philosophy, and why his legacy endures even without a single page in his own hand. Socrates lived in Athens during the 5th century BC, a city full of poets, playwrights, and historians who filled libraries with their works. Yet Socrates, whose ideas would inspire Plato, Aristotle, and the entire Western tradition, never set pen to papyrus. Everything we know about him comes from others, most famously from his student Plato, but also from Xenophon, Aristophanes, and later writers. But why? Why would a thinker so influential refuse to write? The answer lies not in laziness or neglect, but in his radical understanding of what philosophy really is. For Socrates, philosophy was not a set of doctrines to be written down, but a way of life to be practiced in conversation. He saw wisdom not as information to be stored in a book, but as a living reality that emerges in dialogue between two souls. In Plato's Phaedrus, Socrates himself criticizes writing. He tells the myth of the Egyptian god Theuth, who invented writing and presented it to King Thamus as a gift to improve memory. But the king replied, "Writing will not give true memory, only the appearance of memory. It will make people seem wise, but not truly wise." For Socrates, the danger of writing was that words on a page cannot answer back. They cannot defend themselves, clarify their meaning, or adapt to the mind of the listener. True philosophy required the give and take of questioning, refuting, and discovering truth together. This is why Socrates preferred the spoken word. His method, what we now call the Socratic method, was built on asking questions, exposing contradictions, and leading others to examine their own beliefs. His famous saying, "The unexamined life is not worth living," reveals why writing was not enough. Reading a book might fill the mind with ideas, but Socrates wanted people to wrestle with those ideas in real time, in their own souls. Only through dialogue could philosophy achieve its true purpose, awakening self-knowledge and the pursuit of virtue. There is another reason Socrates never wrote. His philosophy was inseparable from his life. He was less interested in producing a system of thought than in embodying wisdom through action. At his trial, recorded in Plato's Apology, Socrates declared that he was like a gadfly sent by the gods to awaken the city of Athens. His mission was not to write books for future generations, but to challenge his fellow citizens face to face, forcing them to confront truth, justice, and the state of their own souls. His refusal to write was part of his conviction that philosophy is not about abstract theories, but about how we live here and now. His life itself was his philosophy. And yet, paradoxically, the man who never wrote a word has influenced more minds than almost any other writer in history. Thanks to Plato and others, the memory of Socrates has been preserved. But the fact that he left nothing written also deepens his mystery, leaving us forever in dialogue with him through the words of others. In a sense, Socrates' silence is itself a lesson. It reminds us that philosophy is not about memorizing texts, but about transforming our way of thinking. His legacy teaches us that truth is not static ink on a page. It is a living search, renewed in every conversation. So why did Socrates never write a book? Because for him, philosophy was not something you could lock in a scroll. It was a conversation, a quest, a way of living. By refusing to write, he ensured that his wisdom would not become a dead letter, but a living challenge. He forces us even today to do philosophy the way he did, by asking questions, examining ourselves and seeking the good. More than 2,000 years later, Socrates still speaks, not through books, but through the way we think, question, and pursue truth. And perhaps that is why his message has endured longer than any written word, Because philosophy, for Socrates, was never meant to be read. It was meant to be lived.